Module 1, Section 8, Objective 5. Translate a phrase into a mathematical expression containing whole numbers. So given the equation, 12 times 3 equals 36, using words only, come up with as many different ways that you could verbally describe what the equation is communicating. Okay, so you could rephrase it. You could say the product of 12 and 3 is 36. Okay, so we're verbally describing what that equation is by changing the multiply to product. Okay, you could say we have 12 threes added up, so this is the repeated addition, right? So the sum of 12 threes is 36. Now remember, we could write it kind of the backwards way of doing the repeated addition as well, right? Couldn't we say 3 12s? So the sum of 3 12s is 36. Okay, and let's write it once, just how I said it the first time. So 12 times 3 is 36. And what about using the word multiply? So 12 multiplied by 3 is 36. And now once we do the rest of this module, there might be some others that you can think of, but for right now, I'm going to leave it at this. And if you can think of any others, great, add them in there, but I think this is fine. Okay, so translating between verbal phrases and mathematical notation, you're looking for key words that indicate multiplication and division. Okay, so what are some words that mean multiply? We talked about product already, right? Okay, when you're doing like 25% of something, you're going to multiply. Okay, when you're looking at geometry and you're trying to find area, you're going to do by, like the length by the width, you're going to multiply. Okay, multiplication, longer, you could just say multiply, let's put times. And multiplication, like I said, we could do multiply by. And see, there's a by again, right? Okay, so the other side, the word for the answer to a division problem, if you remember, is quotient. Okay, how about something goes into another number? That would mean divide. Okay, the word per, miles per hour, actually means divide. Okay, another one you could say is, this one's kind of strange, but what if you break it into equal parts? And you could say how many equal parts, right? So like break into 5 equal parts, you divide by 5. And then just a basic one, let's do divide by. So it kind of matches the multiply by. Now, individual story problems are going to have some other things, like if we wanted to double something, we times it by 2. You triple it, you times it by 3. If you cut it in half, you're going to divide by 2. So specific things with specific numbers, that will come with the individual problems. Okay, so let's translate these into a mathematical expression and solve it. Okay, so what does quotient mean? It's divide, right? So what is the answer to the division problem of 876 divided by 6? Okay, so we can write it this way and then answer it, or you could write it this way and then answer it. Okay, I'll tell you that this fraction method is what you're going to see most often from here on out. Okay, this division sign, mine's really messy. That one's going to kind of phase out over time. You're not going to use it very much, especially when we get to algebra. Okay, so 876 divided by 6. So your divisor goes on the outside, and 6 goes into 8 once. Subtract, bring down your 7. 6 goes into 27 4 times, with 3 left. Bring down your 6. And 6 goes into 30 evenly 6 times. Okay, so this is equal to 146. Okay, B. What number is triple 29? Okay, and that's kind of like I was talking about just a minute ago. Tripling something means you're timesing by 3. So 29 times 3, that's one way of writing it. You could go 3 times 29. You could write it using parentheses instead of a dot. You know, there's so many different ways that you could write it. Whoops, 29 times 3. Okay, now let's actually figure it out. So 29 times 3 is 27. 3 times 2 is 6. Add 2 is 8. So we're just going to put it on the top row only. It's equal to 87. Okay, E over on the other side. There's more on the next page, and you'll see that when we get to them. Find the product of 14 and 23. Product means multiply. So we're going to multiply those two. And you can write it any way you want to. And you could even reverse it because multiply is commutative. Okay? All right, so let's do 23 times 14. So 4 times 3 is 12, carry 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Now we're going to move over 1. So 1 times 23 is just 23. 2 comes down. 9 plus 3 is 12, carry 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. So it's 322. And the next one, what number results when you divide 196 into 7 equal parts? Okay, so it tells you right there, we're dividing, right? So 196 divided into 7 parts. How many how many are in each part? And you could write division this way too, couldn't you? Okay, so let's figure that one out. 196 divided by 7. 7 goes into 19 twice. And 7 goes into 56 8 times evenly. Whoops, 0, not 8. So our answer would be 28. Okay, and we're on our own on all of these. None of the packet has, or none of them are answered in your packet, so here we go. 8 multiplied by what number gives you 96? Okay, so 8 times something is equal to 96. If you want to put a question mark instead, that's fine. I like putting a blank and then putting the answer in the blank, but it doesn't matter, just as long as you realize it's a multiply problem. And now you need to realize that you're going to divide to find the answer. Okay, so 96 divided by 8. 8 goes into 9 once. Bring the 6 down. 8 into 16 twice. So the answer is 12. Okay, let's go down. So the product of 5 and what number? So we're timesing. Gives you 55. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing to find our answer. We're going to undo multiply by dividing. So 55 divided by 5. You probably already know that, but let's go ahead and do it. 5 goes into 5 once. Bring your 5 down. 5 goes into 5 once. So the answer is 11, because 5 times 11 gives you 55. And G, what number divided by 7 gives you 4? So what number divided by 7 equals 4? Or, this is divided by 7 equals 4. It's probably better to put a question mark above it or something in this case, right? To undo multiply, you're going to divide. So 4 times 7 is 28. 28 divided by 7 is 4, so you're right. Okay, and the last one here. The quotient of 42 in what number gives you 6? So 42 divided by some number gives you 6. Or 42 divided by some number is 6. So we're going to do the inverse of divide, so we're going to multiply. So 6 times something equals 42, and that something is 7.